What is up, guys? In today's video, I want to talk about the 10 biggest mistakes that Pokemon Unite players do. I will try to rank them from the worst to the absolute worst, and those mistakes you should really try to avoid as good as you can. At number 10, we already start where we select our Pokemon, and bad team comms is going to be the mistake. Bad team comms, you already know about the Cinderace, Greninja, Decidueye all in the same team. It is very, very important, and one of the biggest mistakes people do is just not paying attention to what your allies pick and just pick whatever you want to play. It's just not a good strategy if you actually want to be winning the game, which I don't know if people actually in Unite care about this, but if you already see a 2-attacker in your team, maybe try to pick some melee. You don't always have to pick a support or defender necessarily as well, but if you see your team is lacking engage, pick an engage Pokemon. If you think you need a bit more frontline, you need a bit stronger laners for more last hitting, try to play around or try to make sure you have a solid team comp before heading into a game. Before we continue, today's video is sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends. So imagine you got yourself a new phone and you're looking for the best mobile game to play. Well, lucky for you that you're watching this right now, because Raid Shadow Legends has awesome visuals, over 700 unique champions, challenging PvE bosses, and tactical PvP content. Raid Shadow Legends just had their 4th year anniversary, so I'm picking 4 champions with amazing designs that I would like to invite to my dinner party. First one would be Diliana, wonderfully designed champion with amazing buffs for the entire team. Next up, Aileal, who deals incredible amounts of damage and just also looks very cool. Third, I will pick Tormund the Cold, a dwarf tank who just looks like he's ready to literally tank everything. And for the last champion, I would like to invite Riho Bone Spear, who looks very deadly but actually keeps my party alive with a lot of healing. There's also a Dragon Egg Hunt event going on right now. If you're a new player, you can download the game right now and join this Dragon Egg Hunt event and win in-game items and even up to $20,000 in Amazon gift cards. So much exciting stuff is waiting for you in Raid Shadow Legends. So what are you waiting for? New players can use the link or scan my QR code and even receive a free starter pack with cool in-game loot. The second, or number 9 on this list, is also a mistake that happens before the game even starts, which is having the wrong head item, wrong battle item, wrong emblems. It is very important because it can handicap you a lot. There's people who play special attack items on Greninja or Cinderace. There's people who play leftovers. There's people who play Assault Vest on Pokemon that make no sense. Potion is also a fan favorite that doesn't make sense on like half the roster to play this on. It's very important for a lot of Pokemon to actually have the right head items, because it can mean a huge difference, and it's something very important and easy that should be done without even, you can just look up something, look up a guide somewhere, and you're going to find a reasonable build that will for sure be better than whatever some people are using. And make sure you don't just handicap yourself by playing bad head items. At number 8 is something a bit more interesting. So double stacking. I think having two, if you see your lane partner, let's say you go top path, right? And you're someone who you want to play stacking Pokemon for attack weight. Stacking means attack weight or cookie or special specs. And you already see your lane partner having it. I would not recommend necessarily doing it, playing also Pokemon that needs to stack, because both people going towards the right side of the map is actually quite bad. I would never recommend it. I would always have only one guy to the right side and one guy to the left side, because if the enemies also have someone who is attack weight stacking, it can backfire very fast, because suddenly he gets so much experience alone, and the person on the right side can still just fight you 1v2 as well. He can try to maybe steal away a last hit, he can try to slowly get you down, and then the ally from the left side can just run over, maybe pick up a knockout, and suddenly the game is looking quite bad. So it's something I really just don't like. Don't go to the right as 2. Have someone defending, have someone stacking. If the enemies are 2 on the right side, then just take your safe farm, maybe try to steal something away as well. You don't have to always go too aggressive, and you don't have to always overextend for getting those stacks in. Number 7 is not playing around your allies' power spikes, which also sometimes I tunnel vision on as well, which is a mistake I do sometimes too, just because I'm kind of greedy for experience. If you have a lane partner, think about what their power spikes are, right? If you have an Eevee, try to get them to level 4 as fast as possible. Do you have an Urshifu in lane? Try to get them to level 5 as fast as possible, and then try to hit your power spike as well, not too late of course, but if you can see, oh, he's so close to the level, I should just give him the last hit, because the person who obviously gets the last hit gets more experience. You can still share it, but you're going to get only a portion of it if you're not the last hitter, so make sure you play around your allies' power spikes. Very important. If someone is like 8 and he has 90% of experience, make sure he gets the last hit, and unlocks the Unite move, otherwise suddenly the game turns very bad. So yeah, playing around your allies' power spikes is very important, and it's going to make you also win more games when your lane partner is actually much stronger. And number 6, we have another huge mistake, which is a fan favorite in Unite. Not overscoring a goal. You really have to just look at a goal and look at the points your allies have, to make sure that you can overscore a goal as much as you can. What I mean by that is, if a goal is at 1 out of 80 points and you score 40 points into it, you gain 39 extra. You don't just gain 1 point. I think that's what maybe some people think, is that doesn't matter how many points you score into one, point left goal, you just get 1 point. Not the case. You can overscore a goal and you can get a lot of more points into that goal, which also means more experience on top of it, because the more you score points, the more experience you get. So if you have 40, there's like a 1 point goal, you have 5, the other guy has 40, and you score those 5 points, you lose out on a crazy amount of experience. It cannot be overstated how much experience you lose, and also those points can be a difference maker. Please make sure you pay attention to how many points your allies have, and to make sure that you can overcap a goal as much as you can. At number 5, we have not farming experience. It hurts me a lot. People take fights they should not be taking, even though there's a lot of wild Pokemon up. If your entire map looks like this right here on the right side, I mean, of course, we don't have vision right now, but you see all those yellow dots up, there's something completely wrong with the game. You should be farming those. As soon as they respawn, one of your carries should be farming those. Of course, you still have to take fights as well, but often, even just farming your entire side of the map can be more important than an objective, depending on how much experience is up. So very important, farm experience. The higher level you are, like experience in this game are items, right? So right now I was farming bot, my team was fighting top, which was kinda bad, but there's not much I can do about it. And instant surrender vote, of course, coming out as well. But you have to farm experience. This Regieleki is completely useless compared to how much experience was on our side of the map, right? And it's just so much more important. After I farmed it, I still go up 9, now I go for the team fight, and I can decide to go for it. But yeah, experience is what items are in this game. We don't have in-game items that we can buy for gold, so our entire stats come from how much levels we are. So if you're 13, 14, 15 for Rayquaza, our damage will be much, much higher, and we have a much higher chance of winning the game. And number 4 is one of my favorite mistakes, is breaking a goal too early. If you don't know what that means, if you break one of these first goals, you spawn NDDs on the right side. You probably have noticed that, right? If the enemies break your first goal, suddenly you have NDDs in a safe spot. If you break the goal at like 2 minutes into the game, let's say it's 8 minutes left, if you break the goal right there, the enemies are going to have so much time to just farm NDDs over and over again on the lane you broke, which suddenly in the late game they will have more experience and the game is going to become very difficult. Also, if you break your first goal, suddenly you have to go towards the right side of the map and be very over-aggressive to even get experience. If you play a carry Pokemon that needs experience, if you break a goal early on, it's one of the biggest mistakes you can do. It's just going to handicap yourself, sabotage yourself. If you play something like a Pokemon that wants to snowball and can invade afterwards, it's totally fine. Let's say you play Zoroark or Dodrio, you can take the goal and then invade the enemy jungle over and over again. But if you play Gardevoir, Tyranitar, those kind of Pokemon, you just want to be in lane, you want to farm those Pokemon that keep respawning and respawning to make sure you get that experience and get to late game and have a lot of experience on yourself. Otherwise, you're just handicapping yourself. I think breaking a goal is fine at like 6 minutes. So 4 minutes into the game, it's totally fine, or for the second objective, or after you got the first objective on bot lane or something, and you like have a huge overcap, and you can maybe push towards the second goal as well. If you can make a second goal push as well, and you know you're gonna get it because you just killed all of them, it's totally fine as well. Totally fine. And number 3, we have the wrong objective priority, which is going for Regieleki, doesn't matter what. Regieleki is still a very bad objective most of the time. It will not really do a lot, and the bottom objective gives you much more. It gives you buff over time, and it also, in late game, is just much, much more valuable, and it also gives you more global experience. And Regieleki just takes a lot of time. Regieleki, doing it, takes a lot of time, it's quite risky, does a lot of damage, you have to be very careful about it as well, and I just often can't recommend doing it. There are certain scenarios where it's totally fine if nothing else is up. Also, wrong objectives, make sure you don't just run into a team fight and just take a team fight you can't take. That's also something people like to do. On number 2, we have a bad Unite move usage. So right here in this scenario as well, it's a good scenario. The enemy Gardevoir uses it at 218 to maybe just live away. I have a still very low death timer. Really tough as well, Unite moving. Average is Unite moving, which is fine at like 2.5, 2.10. You can actually do it quite here. So my team doing it is actually quite decent of a thing to do in this scenario. The Gardevoir Unite was complete utter. He should have let himself would get taken down. Just using Unite move 1 there to get 1 KO is not great. If you fight for the last Reggie and it's 210 and you think if we wipe them right here we can do this Rayquaza, you can totally do it. But make sure you don't Unite between 2:30 and 3 minutes late game. And then the last mistake right here, not showing up to Rayquaza and backcapping at the same time. Our Slowbro, for some reason, we wiped the entire enemy team, goes towards the right side and scores instead of just helping us for Rayquaza, helping us get vision on the objective, making sure Wigglytuff can't just walk into the pit. That's something people still like to do a lot. You have to show up at Rayquaza. It's the biggest mistake you can do, is not show up for the fight that actually matters, or when you can take it down when opponents are gone and you can actually take it down as a team. Same for defending Regieleki. If you defend Regieleki while Rayquaza is up, it's a huge mistake. The enemies can just go in there, move in, maybe take it down. Never defend Regieleki when it goes towards the second goal. If it goes towards your main base, you might be forced to defend it and can be just probably checkmate. But if the Regieleki walks towards the first goal and the second goal on top, don't defend it when Ray is spawning. If it's like 220 and you have 10 seconds to clear it, totally fine. If it's 210, it's walking towards your goal, make sure you admit you have to be at Rayquaza, you have to make sure you get vision there, you have to make sure you're in position for it, otherwise you're going to struggle to take it down. In this scenario as well, right here, our Slowbro could have just helped us go for the Wigglytuff. In the end, it was actually our Espeon messing up though, because our Espeon didn't go for the last hit properly, but still, you should be there. It makes no sense when 5 enemies are dead to not be there and help us burst it down, because it's the best chance we can just make sure we can win, because it's never guaranteed just going to win a refight, right? Once the enemies are respawn, we just use some of our Unite moves and suddenly they take another fight and we don't win it anymore. That can happen a lot of times. So yeah. Number 10, bad team combos. Number 9, wrong head items. Number 8, going 2 sides for double stacking. Number 7, not playing around your power spikes of allies. Number 6, overscoring. Number 5, not farming. Number 4, breaking goals too early. Number 3, wrong objective priority and then going for objectives you can't fight for. Also very bad. Number 2, bad Unite move usage. And number 1, we have not being at Ray and backcapping. Let me know if I missed any mistakes. This is my current list of 10 mistakes I came up with when I thought about it. And I think it's quite solid of a list. So yeah, let me know in the comments what your top 10 might look like, or if there's any mistakes I missed out on. And thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!